Right now, a silent signal is racing from your gut to your brain, moving faster than sugar can even reach your bloodstream. This hidden transmission is quietly rewiring your sense of pleasure, changing how you perceive the world around you. It feels strange, but while we have eaten sugar for thousands of years, your tongue is not the primary way your brain tracks it. There is a specialized sensor buried deep in your gut, acting as an internal monitor for the fuel you consume. Crucially, artificial sweeteners cannot fool this internal sensor. It is far more sophisticated than a simple taste test. If you trigger this specific gut-to-brain signal every single day for 30 days, your cravings begin to fundamentally shift. Most people treat these persistent sugar cravings as a character flaw or a failure of personal discipline. We are often told to just white-knuckle through the urge, and we feel deep guilt whenever we inevitably slip up. This cycle of shame is the same script we have all heard since childhood, recycled by every diet plan and well-meaning relative. But this common framing gets the biology completely backwards. Your brain is not broken when it craves sugar. It is actually doing exactly what it evolved to do, and it is performing that function extremely well. The problem is not a lack of willpower on your part. The problem is that the modern world changed much faster than your brain. The actual mechanism your brain uses to detect and crave sugar was only mapped in real detail in the last few years. It is a process that is far more physical and strange than you might have ever guessed. Why do we care so much about this? Because humans did not invent the sweet tooth. We inherited it from our ancestors. Our primate ancestors survived largely on fruit, where higher sugar content meant more usable energy for survival. Early humans who craved sweetness more intensely were simply better at finding high-calorie sources in the wild. They were more likely to survive, and therefore, more likely to pass that intense craving down through the generations. For most of human history, however, concentrated sugar was virtually non-existent in our daily diet. The earliest evidence of solid sugar comes from Bengal over 2,000 years ago, where people boiled cane juice. They turned it into a raw, dark block, a process that was both labor-intensive and rare. For centuries after that, refined sugar remained so scarce, it was treated almost like a precious jewel. It was used as a medicinal tonic, or even sculpted into elaborate displays for royal banquets. It is really only in the last few hundred years that sugar went from a priceless rarity to an unavoidable staple. It is everywhere now. Yet through all of it, we never truly understood how it pulled the strings in our brains. Not until researchers finally got down to the molecular, cell-by-cell level of investigation. So, what is actually happening in there when you take a bite of something sweet? Sugar hits your tongue, and that triggers a surge of dopamine, the reward chemical tied to motivation. This chemical is released in a specific region of your brain called the nucleus accumbens. Think of it like a lock and key mechanism. Sugar is the key, and dopamine receptors are the lock. Every time they connect, your brain receives a powerful, reinforcing message that this is worth repeating. But wait, it gets even stranger. Your tongue is not actually the main event in this process. In 2020, researchers at Columbia found specialized cells lining the gut that detect sugar directly. These cells are completely separate from your taste buds, firing a signal up the vagus nerve. This signal reaches your brain within seconds, which is why a diet soda never quite scratches the itch. Your gut can tell the difference between real sugar and artificial sweeteners, even when your tongue cannot. Now imagine that process happening every single day, for weeks on end, without a break. Research on sustained daily sugar intake shows the reward circuitry itself starts to adapt to the constant input. It eventually takes a bigger hit of sugar to produce the same rush it used to provide. Okay, here's the actually useful part of this story for your daily life. If sugar cravings are a biology problem rather than a willpower problem, the fix is not to try harder. The solution is to work with your biology instead of fighting against it. Researchers at Weill Cornell found something that is almost annoyingly simple to implement. They discovered that eating fiber and protein first, like vegetables, meat, or eggs, can change everything. Consuming these before your carbs or sugar can blunt the blood sugar spike that follows. In some studies, this simple change reduces the spike by nearly a third. You do not even have to change what you eat, just the order of your food. The same cookie or soda, eaten after a meal instead of on an empty stomach, triggers a different response. Your body processes the sugar completely differently when it is buffered by other nutrients. That is the part that feels backwards when you think about our traditional advice. We have spent decades telling people to fight sugar with pure self-control, when the more effective lever, this whole time, was simply food sequencing. Your brain was never the enemy in this story. It is not weak, and it is not broken. It is running ancient code that kept your ancestors alive for millions of years. Sugar is not hijacking a flaw in you, it is using a system evolution built to work perfectly. Once you see it that way, the goal stops being to defeat your cravings through sheer force. It becomes about working with the biological system you actually have. Next time you reach for something sweet, remember, you are not failing at discipline. You are running millions of years of programming in a world it was never built for. What other everyday craving do you think is running on ancient software? Let me know in the comments.